Hello, beautiful souls. So here it looks like today I'm little Mother Hubbard trapped in her little cupboard in my parents' back room coming to visit. So I figured I'd extend today's course lesson. And so today's course lesson is lesson 136. Sickness is a defense against the truth. And yesterday we realized that when we make plans of our own, that is also a defense, which leads to attack. So we are on the realm of defense now. So I am grateful for that. So, lesson 136, sickness is a defense against the truth. No one can fail unless he understands what purpose sickness means to serve. This is key. What purpose does sickness mean to serve? For then he understands as well its purpose has no meaning. Being causeless and without a meaningful intent of any kind, it cannot be at all. When this is seen, healing is automatic. It dispels this meaningless illusion by the same approach that carries all of them to truth, and merely leaves them there to disappear. So again, we're bringing the attention back up to the cause, back up to the mind. And anything that we have in this world or experience in this world, including sickness, we have given purpose to. So we are asking, what is the purpose that sickness seems to serve? And in doing so, we light on the purpose that is currently held within our mind, that is the root cause of this sickness. And once we see the purpose for what it is, we realize that it's meaningless. We realize it's built on nothing, and that it really is just a false conclusion that we've accepted in our mind years and years and years prior. And so with that awareness is when we can let that old purpose go and let the new purpose of healing, of truth, of God to replace it. So the answer's here, beautiful souls, if you're experiencing sickness in your life or anybody else around you is. The answer is here. This is key to know that sickness is not an accident. It's not an accident. Like all defenses, it is an insane device for self-deception. Self-deception. I am this body. I can be weak. I can get sick. False deception. False self-deception. And like all the rest, its purpose is to hide reality, attack it, change it, render it inept, distort it, twist it, or reduce it to a little pile of unassembled parts. The aim of all defenses is to keep the truth from being whole. The parts are seen as if each one were the whole within itself. That's it. That is what sickness does. That's what all defenses do. They keep the whole reality of truth from being whole in our minds and in our experience, because we're only focused on a little wee part of what's going on instead of seeing the whole. Defenses are not unintentional, nor are they made without awareness. They are secret magic wands you wave when truth appears to threaten what you would believe. They seem to be unconscious, but because of the rapidity with which you choose to use them. They seem to be unconscious, but because of the rapidity with which you choose to use them. In that second, even less, in which the choice is made, you recognize exactly what you would attempt to do, and then proceed to think that it is done. That's it. It takes a thought to welcome the thought of sickness in our mind. And the second we accept it, the second we believe it, boom, it'll manifest in our body. Cause and effect. Who but yourself evaluates a threat, decides escape is necessary, and sets up a series of defenses to reduce the threat that has been judged as real? All this cannot be done unconsciously. But afterwards, your plan requires that you must forget you made it. So it seems to be external to your own intent, a happening beyond your state of mind, an outcome with real effect on you, instead of one affected by yourself. This is crucial, and I see why this lesson is after yesterday's lesson now. Because yesterday we got to see that when we make plans, that is a defense against the truth. And so it is saying here, it is your plan that requires you to forget that you made it. So it was a plan that we had set in our mind to deflect truth by accepting sickness instead. It's a faulty problem-solving approach, right? We are trying to solve our problems, thinking that this is going to solve our problems on an unconscious level. Accept this thought and then keep it suppressed so that we think that we didn't choose this, so we think we didn't plan this, so we think we didn't make this, and say, oh, I'm sick. Now it's up to the world to fix me. Now it's up to the world to heal me. Now it's up to something outside of myself to make me better. This is what sickness does. It puts you on a quest. It puts you seeking to make yourself feel better, when in reality the cause of the sickness is in the mind, the choice that the mind made. It is this quick forgetting of the part you play in making your reality which makes defenses seem to be beyond your own control. But what you have forgot can be remembered, given willingness to reconsider the decision which is doubly shielded by oblivion. Your not remembering is but the sign that this decision still remains in force as far as your desires are concerned. So that's it, we've just forgotten, and that's what this whole course is about, remembering what we have forgotten. So we have forgotten that we are the ones who play a part in making our reality here. If our reality has to do with sickness, then it is because we have believed in the thought of sickness. We've believed in the false self-concept. We have believed that this is what is going to solve our problems. And so because of that, we must be open to the realization that, wow, I must be forgetting the truth because I'm sick, because I'm not at peace. And because I am forgetting the truth and I'm sick and I'm not at peace, then I can remember. And in that remembering is the answer. In that remembering is the correction. In that remembering is a miracle received in place of where the sickness once was. Jesus is telling us flat out how he was able to heal these people who were sick, because this is how he saw them. This is how he saw the experience. So let's listen very closely. Mistake this not for fact. Defenses must make facts unrecognizable. They aim at doing this, and this they seem to do. Every defense takes fragments of the whole, assembles them without regard to all their true relationships, and thus constructs illusions of a whole which is not there. It is this process which imposes threat, and not whatever outcome may result. When parts are wrested from the whole and seen as separate and wholes within themselves, they become symbols standing for attack upon the whole, successful in effect and never to be seen as whole again. And yet you have forgotten that they stand but for your own decision of what should be real, to take the place of what is real. That's it. You have forgotten that they stand but for your own decision of what should be real, to take the place of what is real, right? And so all of these thoughts of sickness, of body, of pain, of death are standing in for what we think should be real. This is the misconception of the entire world. Believing in this body, believing in death, believing in sickness, and that stands in for what is real because of our choice. And then it further goes on and says, sickness is a decision. It is not a thing that happens to you, quite unsought, which makes you weak and brings you suffering. It is a choice you make, a plan you lay when for an instant truth arises in your own deluded mind, and all your world appears to totter and prepare to fall. Now are you sick that truth may go away and threaten your establishments no more. That's it. Sickness is a decision. Sickness is a decision of the mind. How do you think that sickness can succeed in shielding you from the truth? Because it proves the body is not separate from you, and so you must be separate from truth. Whoa! You suffer pain because the body does, and in this pain are you made one with it. Thus is your true identity preserved, and the strange, haunting thought that you might be something beyond this little pile of dust, silenced and stilled. For see, this dust can make you suffer, twist your limbs and stop your heart, commanding you to die and cease to be. This is how intense the ego mind is. The ego mind is so intense that it would prefer to offer you a thought of sickness and of death, simply so that you can believe that this body is what you are, simply so that you can believe in the thoughts of sickness that it offers you. This is how crazy ego is, and this is how much ego does not want us to believe in the truth and to accept the truth and to know the truth, because in knowing the truth, ego is gone. Ego is done completely, and therefore it has no more reign over us. So a lot of the time, some of the last straws that ego tries is to make us sick, is to cause us some harm in some way, because it wants us to feel like we are weak and miserable and can suffer and can die. That's the purpose of the ego. But we are not the ego. We are not the ego, and that's why we can undo all forms of this sickness. We can undo all of it and rise to the truth and rise to eternal life. And so the ego wants us to think that the body is stronger than the mind of God. So crazy. Thus is the body stronger than the truth, which asks you to live but cannot overcome your choice to die. And so the body is more powerful than everlasting life, heaven more frail than hell, and God's design for salvation of his Son opposed by a decision stronger than his will. His Son is dust, the Father incomplete, and chaos sits in triumph on his throne. Dun dun dun. This is what ego wants us to think, and this is what it offers us. And when we're believing in sickness, this is what we do think in our mind. The body is stronger than truth, and the body is more powerful than everlasting life. Such is your planning for your own defense. And you believe that heaven quails before such mad attacks as these, with God made blind by your illusions, truth turned into lies, and all the universe made slave to laws which your defenses would impose on it. Yet who believes illusions but the one who made them up? Who else can see them and react to them as if they were true? God knows not of your plans to change his will. God knows not of your plans to change his will. The universe remains unheeding of the laws by which you thought to govern it. And heaven has not bowed to hell, nor life to death. You can but choose to think you die, or suffer sickness, or distort the truth in any way. What is created is apart from all of this. Defenses are plans to defeat what cannot be attacked. What is unalterable cannot change. And what is wholly sinless cannot sin. Such is the simple truth. It does not make appeal to might nor triumph. It does not command obedience, nor seek to prove how pitiful and futile your attempts to plan defenses which would alter it. It merely wants to give you happiness, for such is its purpose. For such its purpose is. Perhaps it sighs a little when you throw away its gifts, and yet it knows with perfect certainty that what God wills for you must be received. That's it. Truth is another choice, beautiful souls. If we first chosen sickness, that's okay. The choice for eternal life and God's will and God's plan over ours is still there. We can still choose again, and we've done nothing wrong. We are sinless and cannot sin. Even if currently we may be experiencing sickness, we have done nothing wrong and can still choose again. It is this fact which demonstrates that time is an illusion. For it lets you think what God has given you is not the truth right now, as it must be. The thoughts of God are quite apart from time, for time is but another meaningless defense you made against the truth. Yet what God wills is here, and you remain as he created you, which is perfect health. You remain as God created you. Truth has a power far beyond defense, for no illusions can remain where it has been allowed to enter. And it comes to any mind that would lay down its arms and cease to play with folly. It is found at any time, today, if you will choose to practice giving welcome to the truth. This is our aim today. And we will give a quarter of an hour twice to ask the truth to come to us and set us free. So 2 times today for 15 minutes, we are going to ask the truth to set us free. This is another choice that we're choosing now, beautiful souls. I choose truth to set me free. I'm no longer going to think that I am this body and frail and can be sick and die. This is not what I am. What I am is what God created me to be. Therefore, I welcome the truth to set me free. And truth will come, for it has never been apart from us. It merely waits for just this invitation which we give today. We introduce it with a healing prayer to help us rise above defensiveness and let the truth be as it always has been. Sickness is a defense against the truth. I will accept the truth of what I am and let my mind be wholly healed today. Healing will flash across your open mind as peace and truth arise to take the place of war and vain imaginings. There will be no dark cornerstones sickness can conceal and keep defended from the light of truth. There will be no dim figures from your dreams, nor their obscure and meaningless pursuits with double purposes insanely sought remaining in your mind. It will be healed of all the sickly wishes that it tried to authorize the body to obey. Now is the body healed, because the source of sickness has been opened to relief. And you will recognize you practiced well by this. The body should not feel at all. If you have been successful, there will be no sense of feeling ill or feeling well, of pain or of pleasure. No response at all is in the mind to what the body does. Its usefulness remains and nothing more. This is quite potent to take in. Once the body is truly healed, we don't feel any pain or pleasure, feeling ill or feeling well. The body just is. The body just is used for its usefulness, and that is all. And that's a freeing thought, because now we don't have to worry about it. Now we don't have to fix it. Now we don't have to change it. Now we don't have to make it any better or any worse than it is. It just is. Perhaps you do not realize that this removes the limits you had placed upon the body by the purposes you gave to it. As these are laid aside, the strength the body has will always be enough to serve all truly useful purposes. That's it. Now that our purposes, our plans have been set aside, now can the body be used for useful purposes. The body's health is fully guaranteed because it is not limited by time, by weather or fatigue, by food and drink, or any laws you made it serve before. Amen. I'm going to read that again. The body's health is fully guaranteed because it is not limited by time, by weather or fatigue, by food and drink, or any laws you made it serve before. You need do nothing now to make it well, for sickness has become impossible. Yet this protection needs to be preserved by careful watching. If you let your mind harbor attack thoughts, yield to judgment, or make plans against uncertainties to come, you have again misled yourself and made a bodily identity which will attack the body, for the mind is sick. Give instant remedy should this occur, by not allowing your defensiveness to hurt you longer. Do not be confused about what must be healed, but tell yourself, I have forgotten what I really am, for I mistook my body for myself. Sickness is a defense against the truth, but I am not my body, and my mind cannot attack, so I cannot be sick. Let this be the affirmation, if this is what you're experiencing these days, sickness in body or in mind or for those around you. Let this be your affirmation. Let this totally unravel your mind and your perception from identifying and thinking that this body is what you are, because it is not what we are. In the truth and the acceptance of ourself as God created us to be, we realize we cannot attack. The mind cannot attack, the mind cannot be sick, and therefore neither can the body. And all is healed by this simple shift from the source being the body to the source being God. So we're being called to be healed here today, beautiful souls. So close your eyes, go within, listen to today's lesson, sit with the affirmations and prayers that are given us, and let yourself be healed. Healing is being offered to you by the voice for God in your mind. All you need to do is be still and listen to it today. And so with that being said, I love you all, beautiful, healed, whole, and perfect souls. Have a beautiful, blessed day.